Welcome to the latest edition of the Fourth and Gold NFL podcast. We are at week 18, the final week of the regular season. All good things must come to an end. But the good news is a new season is about to begin. But before we get there, there's a few things to get decided this week. And it starts on Saturday. We've got a Saturday doubleheader where we begin with Panthers at the Buccaneers. It is being presented as an NFC South title match, but it's not quite that for the Buccaneers. If the Bucs win, they will need the Saints to beat the Falcons. Otherwise, we will have a three-way tie in which the Panthers will prevail. So there's a lot going for the Panthers with this scenario. What are your thoughts on this game, Paul? Bucks, I believe, are 1-7 in their last 8 games.
Yeah. So a couple of teams with different narratives coming in, because if you look big picture at this, if I'm a Panthers fan, if I follow the Carolina Panthers, as a broadly to look at their season, I think they'd be pleased. You know, they've got probably questions at quarterback, but the fact that they're in a poorly performing division, but they're in a division decider, their fate is in their hands. If Carolina win every game from here on out, they will be Super Bowl champions, which is crazy. And this late into the season, in week 18. Tampa Bay were obviously the favorites for this division coming in. And as you said, they're 1-7. And I heard a stat with Baker Mayfield that he's in the low 20s in EPA per play in the last 10 weeks or so at the quarterback position. And that's a shocking stat considering that he was a lot of people's MVP favorite after a few weeks of the season. And their defense, so Baker's not performing on offense at quarterback. And their defense lately has just been atrocious. So it's still, I'm going to give it the credit that it's due. It's still a division decider, but these are not two good teams. These teams are not going to do anything in the postseason, really. I mean, you know, beast mode, that Seahawks team that was under 500, they upset the Saints in it was the Beastquake game. So crazy things can happen. Maybe they can upset somebody. You know, they get the advantage of a home playoff game, potential. If it's Carolina, obviously they win and in. But my taking Bryce Young on the road anywhere, the answer is no, regardless of Tampa and their recent problems. And the fact that Tampa Bay are favored by 2.5 shows you how far they have dropped. They're only 2.5 point favorites at home to Carolina. A couple of weeks ago, they were 3-point favorites at Carolina. So has it changed that much? What, a 3-point swing that quickly? I just think in typical NFC South style, this is the way that I see it going. I see Tampa Bay winning this game, and I see Atlanta winning the Saints game. And so then you've got 3 teams at 8 and 9. Carolina make the playoffs as division champs, and Carolina gets smoked by whoever comes into Carolina on wildcard weekend. That's how I see it. And it would be so fitting that Atlanta are 8 and 9, probably the best team in this division, at least roster-wise. And Atlanta, who have just had a disaster of a season, just killing themselves with special teams and bizarre coaching decisions and just craziness all around in Atlanta. They would finish the season going on a bit of a hot streak and tie at 8 and 9 and not make the playoffs. So yeah, I think that Tampa Bay, I think you're I think now they have reached rock bottom at 2.5 point favorites at home to Carolina. So I think this is the point where you go, okay, I think that I will take them to beat Bryce Young on the road by at least 3 points. So yeah, I take Tampa Bay to win and cover, and Atlanta to beat the Saints, and then it to be an 8-9 three way split.
I can't really disagree. I mean, you said it all. I think the Buccaneers. I mean, I've picked the Buccaneers to win. I feel like 5 weeks in a row,
Yeah,
and they just keep losing. But when I look at the game that these two played a couple of weeks ago, it was a fairly even game, and once again, the Bucks kind of threw away a lead. But they were
yeah,
driving. They were driving to either tie or win the game, and Baker and Mike Evans had a miscommunication on a route
yeah. They
interception.
also had, if you remember, Jamel Dean, the corner, the Tampa corner, just blew a coverage. Like I think it was right at halftime. So that's a 7 point swing as well. So they're pretty
Mm.
much just it's going to go to halftime, or at best, the Panthers might get a field goal out of it. No, they get a touchdown out of it, and in a close game, that's your ball game.
Yeah, and yeah, what has happened to this Todd Bowles defense? Like,
Mm.
I would always sort of hang my hat on and say, okay, they're not great in the secondary, but they can stop the run.
Yeah,
They can't do anything right now,
nope.
which is a massive concern. And yeah, Baker looks kind of broken. Like he kind of needs the off season, I think, because that glittering start that he had just kind of just tapered out, and everyone is healthy. I think like
Is
Mike
Baker healthy? Is Baker healthy
is
though?
Baker healthy?
Yeah,
Yeah,
because do you remember that his last season in Cleveland, where Cleveland obviously did the dirty on him and got rid of him? You know, he was playing with the huge shoulder injury, and he was out for a period this season and then came back. And it's Baker, isn't it, to just play
play
like
through it.
toughness, play through it, and because it's almost like first few weeks of the season and then the rest of the season, it's almost been night and day how Baker has performed. And you can see it with their results as a team.
Yeah, and it's almost like they had all those injuries, and Baker was like trying to carry the load,
Yeah.
and it's just worn him down. Through attrition. Can he find? Can he find it to get through this game? Because the thing is with the Bucks, like I wouldn't I wouldn't want to play them like sneaking into the playoffs. I know you should still beat them. Like whoever plays them will be favored, but it will just be in the back of your mind like if they do find their top gear, this is a bit of a problem team. Whereas with the Panthers, I sort of feel a bit more relaxed that even if they play at their best, you probably will beat them anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. If you lose to Carolina, I don't care that it's on the road, then you don't deserve to progress in the playoffs. Like
Agree.
it's not like, oh, you had a hard draw in the playoffs, like the chips fell in a way that didn't favor you. No, like you've got to take care of business. You've got to beat Carolina. Like so, but I think back to Dak Prescott. I think it's one. I think so. Dak Prescott's got, from memory, two playoff wins, two career playoff wins. I'm not bashing on Dak. Okay, I'm just making a broader point. But one of those wins was against Tampa Bay and the declining Tom Brady right at the end, and
Mm-hmm.
they killed the Bucks. So this could be another, you know, almost like a mini bye for one of the playoff teams.
Yeah.
I know your point about, Tampa Bay, but this has been going on for a little while now. This is not like a 2-3 week period. This
No.
has been, Baker stats are over a 10-week period. I
And
think they need an
the
yeah,
defense is atrocious.
yeah,
Like
I
you
think
can't fix that.
no, they need a reset in the off season. They need to go away and get themselves together and maybe have a look at the head coach position. Has
Mm.
has he been there too long? Is his message getting stale? Defensive head coach. defense is getting torched. That's not a good look.
I mean, Bowles really ripped into them after the collapse against the Falcons. I mean, they gave up 3rd and 28 in 2 plays,
Yeah.
and he ripped them a new one. And I wonder if that just hasn't, that's gone the wrong way, where the players are sort of, kind of lost support for him, because it can go both ways. Like that can, rally the troops, or it can demoralize them further. It feels like they've not improved since then. And the irony of that comeback is why the Falcons are in play to disrupt this game being a title decider.
It's so Falcons, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just so Falcons. But as well, when you think the guy that left, so the big loss for Tampa Bay is Liam Cohen, who's now in the running. I think they're still in play, the Jags, for the #1 seed. Obviously, they've got a lot to kind of go their way. They need the Broncos, and I think the Broncos and Patriots to lose and them to win. And obviously, they've got the tiebreak over the Bucs, having beat them in Denver. But yeah, this guy left, and Baker's had struggles. You could say that Baker's had struggles the whole season, because in the first month of the season, he was playing hero ball. Yeah. He really was. He was just playing out of his mind, like taking the team on his back. But was that
Baker rushing?
Yeah, was that due to the play calling? No, not from what I saw. They were winning a lot of games late.
Yeah.
So yeah, that rush. I still remember that run against your team. Like, that was crazy. Just the effort. Yeah. Baker's. But yeah, so Tampa have bigger problems. Maybe need to go and find a new offensive coordinator and possibly a head coach. But you could solve both problems with just one offensive head coach.
Very true. That would be an attractive place to go. And it's easy to forget that Baker's lost 2 offensive coordinators very close together, a la the guy that is the head coach for the Panthers, Canales. Yeah. So I think we've seen this. Like, if you're a defensive head coach, life is very tough in this era. So yeah, I'm going to say Buccaneers win, and we'll get to the other game. The second half of this Saturday doubleheader, of course, I'm very interested in this one. It is the Seahawks at the 49ers. Winner is the #1 seed in the NFC. I can't believe I'm saying that my 49ers are involved in this game. But here we are. Before the start of the season, I had the Niners with a record of 12-5. And they sit here today 12-4. So I had to follow the courage of my convictions, knowing the schedule was a little bit lighter. Okay, I accept that. But for us to have gone on this run with all these injuries, yeah, I tip my cap again to Shanahan. And what an amazing game for the neutral last week against the Bears. That game basically went 99% of the way I thought it would, with the 1% being Caleb just falling short of the game-winning touchdown and the Niners getting the stop at the end. But it sums up where the Niners are. The offense has to be perfect. The 49ers can only win through their offense, and the defense isn't going to make too many stops. So Purdy's been on. Since Purdy's come back, the Niners are the #1 offense, 35 points per game. And particularly the last 2 or 3 weeks, they have really been rolling. So this is a tough test, though, because they haven't faced a defense in those last 3 weeks like this Seattle Seahawks defense. So to me, this game really comes down to that matchup. The high-octane 49ers offense versus this very good Seahawks defense. Those are the 2 best units on the field for me. The Niners defense, as we know, not great. But Seattle's offense, I've been saying it for 5 or 6 weeks now, I don't feel like they are rolling the way they were in the first half of the season. they've been doing enough most of the time, but they've been relying heavily on special teams and their defense to make plays. It might, so look, the look of these score lines makes it look like, okay, Seattle scored a lot of points, but the defense has been instrumental for this.
Mm.
So I just wonder, can the Niners do enough on defense to stop Sam Darnold going off? Because he doesn't have his left tackle, but we don't really have a great pass rush as shown in the numbers. Like, I think we're last in sacks, we're last or bottom five in turnovers. So it feels like this could be another. It might not be a 80-point game like the Bears game, but it feels like this could be another high scoring game. Kittle will play. Trent Williams won't play. We got through it last week against the Bears. This is a tougher proposition without Trent this week. So I don't expect McCaffrey to be able to run the ball very much. So it's going to come down to Purdy getting the ball to McCaffrey in the passing game, getting the ball to his number one target, Kittle, who I believe will return, and the committee of receivers who just seem to be ready to make the play. Jawan Jennings had one catch in that game, and then he makes the game-winning play. Kendrick Bourne had one target in the game. It was a huge 30-yard play. And same with Demarcus Robinson. I think he had the first touchdown. These guys just seem ready, which, comes down to coaching, really. And they're just on at the moment. I said it last week. I said if the Niners beat the Bears, I will pick the Niners to beat the Seahawks. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I think the Niners offense will be able to score on this Seattle defense. Can't really take much stock in it, but they were able to move the ball on the Seahawks in week one. I know it's week one, but Shanahan's got a pretty good record against Mike McDaniel, who, by the way, has done an amazing job with Seattle. And we're seeing with the Ravens how much they're missing him. But I'm going to take the Niners to win this game and be the number one seed in the NFC.
Yeah, I love your point about the Seahawks offense because if you're not following each Seattle game, you look at the box score afterwards and you go, "Oh, yeah, they beat the Rams in like that crazy game." And yeah, they had that crazy game. I think was it against the Falcons with the Shaheed's. They killed a team where Shaheed had the punt return touchdown and then it
That
kind
was the Falcons.
of
Yeah.
yeah. So you can be confused into thinking that Seattle is still rolling. And the Rams game, I give them credit for coming back at the end, but Darnold wasn't playing well for a long, long period of that game. And let's be honest about it, the Rams should have taken care of business late. And that was a crazy 2 minutes of play. They've had, as you said, with the special teams, yeah, the Shaheed punt return and like a couple of like blocked kicks turning into big plays, and as you said, the defense just making plays and turnovers and picks. And so Seattle, to me, as well, their running game is not rolling, is not as effective, and it's a quite simple scheme they run on offense that they have the big guys and they have tight ends and they crowd the line of scrimmage with these big tight ends and they just want to run the ball, and then you line up to stop the run, and then they used to early in the season hit you over the top with JSN like a big play. Now teams are just going, okay, we'll play a too high shell and go, right, we won't give you the big play and we'll just play to stop the run. We'll play to stop the run and go, okay, well, we want Sam Darnold to just pick us apart with, shorter completions. And it hasn't been working for Seattle for a long period now. And they haven't adjusted. It's not been for a short period. It's now been for an extended period where Seattle hasn't been performing at least how they were at the start of the season. now, recently. And that's not good heading into the playoffs. So they're almost flips, they're almost opposites of each other. Seattle have questions on offense, and the Niners have major questions on defense. So which argument is going to prevail in this run? And for San Francisco to be here, yeah, okay, easy or easier perceived schedule. You've still got to win the games. I think they're, as you said, they're last in sacks and they're second to last to the Jets in picks. And they've got a game to be the number one seed in a conference. That's crazy. It's crazy, those defensive stats. Yeah, they've got countless injuries on defense, but if you can't pressure the quarterback in the NFL, you're going to suffer. And that's just what's happening. So, but can Seattle expose that? I don't know. I think the way to go in this game is probably San Francisco at home. They're slight underdogs as well, which is surprising. They won the week. I think it was week one they played. They obviously a lot's happened since then, but they won the first matchup
with a lot of mistakes in that game. I remember Moody missed a couple of kicks. Purdy had three interceptions, and we still won the game.
Purdy is absolutely rolling lately.
Yeah.
And him doing the Dougie like at the end just is he's showing his confidence not only in his play but how he's celebrating and enjoying themselves after the plays. I mean, that fake out of the Bears lineman, like where he's almost dummied him, almost like I heard it that he's just made him into like a junior varsity player. Like, this is a professional NFL player. And yeah, it was.
It was actually Lamar Jackson-esque in a way, like just the way that he made him, just fooled him, really.
It was really crazy. I'm like, wow, Brock Purdy's got that in him. I've always known he's had the throws in him, but like the confidence and yeah.
The turf toe isn't a problem anymore, I think. Like he seems free again, so that's positive.
Yeah, that's a matchup for me, is Brock Purdy against the speed of this Seattle defense. Because if Purdy can be successful, they're going to score too many points for the Seahawks to keep up, I think. And I think that's the way I'm going to go. I'm just going to go with San Francisco and what they've found lately on offense. Is Pearsall going to play?
Pearsall's going to play.
Okay, I'm far more confident in my pick now because
Kittle's going to be back. Remember, Kittle did not play on Sunday.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. I'm far more confident in my pick. And as well, it was a good win against the Bears because the Bears are rolling on offense as well, and Seattle haven't been. So, and I think that's the way you need to play the 49ers, is you need to... Can San Francisco be big picture? Can they be sustainable like this in the playoffs? I don't know. I think they need to...
we have to be perfect on offense. We have to score 35 or more in the playoffs in every game, I think.
I mean, I hope that happens because that would be great. That would be great TV. That would be great viewing. But for this week, yeah, I think the Seahawks questions are more troubling to them than the 49ers questions, because the 49ers have been struggling on defense for a while now. And the quarterback Purdy is playing out of his mind. So I'm going to go with the home team. I'm going to go with San Francisco. And I hope it's a shootout. I hope that the Seahawks do have some success. And I hope it is a back and forth. But yeah, San Francisco win and San Francisco cover. And then they get the number one seed and they stay home until potentially, hopefully, the Super Bowl, which is in your home stadium.
Unbelievable. So we'll take one game at a time. And I don't know how I'm going to sleep Saturday night with this game overnight. So we'll see about that when we get there.
The swing is huge, isn't it? The swing is, you stay home or you go on the road. So
it's huge. It's huge. And the fact that Trent Williams has a hamstring injury, he could really do with that extra week to recover. So this is huge.
Yeah.
So we move to Sunday. The Sunday slate, there's a lot of games here, Paul, that don't mean a lot. So I'm going to put it to you this way on some of them. So we'll start with Browns at the Bengals. I'm going to give you the winner and the reason why in one sentence. The
Bengals, because they are still playing, and the Browns had their Super Bowl last week against the Steelers. They potentially have ruined the Steelers season, and that, it's sad to say, but that means a great deal to Cleveland fans, more than, even though it's crazy, even though they're in-state rivals with Cincinnati, the Browns fans hate the Steelers more. Obviously, the history of it, but they had their Super Bowl last week. The Browns are out of it. The Browns are. So I think the Bengals are going to absolutely crush them.
Yep, agreed. Bengals win. I'm going to say that Myles Garrett gets his sack to break the record, and that will perfectly sum up exactly where Cleveland are right now. One great player, not a great team. Next up, Cowboys at the Giants. I say Cowboys win because they just win these games that mean nothing, really. The Giants are still playing, but they effectively kicked themselves out of the number one pick last week.
Yeah.
I think they lose this week.
Yeah, the Giants. This could be quite a good game. This could be a sneaky good game because Jackson Dart, it was the Raiders, but they got some confidence back, and you would playing against this Raiders defense. Obviously, the Raiders have totally quit, and people are being benched everywhere to secure the number one overall pick. But Dak did come out and say that they will be trying, regardless of draft position. So they will be playing their guys this week, and I think this could be quite an entertaining game. So I think I'd go the over in this. So Cowboys win, Cowboys cover, and the over.
It was crazy in the first meeting. If you remember, Russell Wilson threw for 400 plus yards.
Yeah, and was never seen again. Or, yeah.
Packers at Vikings. Vikings are favored by 7.5, which suggests that the Packers might be resting some players.
Yeah, so the Packers are secured in the number 7 seed, I believe. They cannot improve their destiny.
Good point. Yep.
And the Packers, Willis is out, Love is out, or Love is on his way back from concussion, but why would they put him out there? So who's playing quarterback for the Packers?
I'm going to assume it's Willis, and my goodness me, I know it's the Ravens. This guy can play quarterback. Yeah. Some of the throws he made in that game, like, wow. And I hope that he plays this week and gets another chance to audition for everyone that's looking for a starting quarterback. Because I do now think he can be a starting quarterback in this league with his ability to run. And now he's making these laser throws. Like those weren't easy conditions. Who knows? Like if he puts on a wow performance, it might be the team that he's playing against that might have a bit of interest in February, March.
You might end up on the Jets. You might be lucky enough for that to happen.
Yeah. This might be Brian Flores' last game at the Vikings. Like we don't know. Like we don't know what is on the horizon for him. So I think he's going to go out with a bang. Packers have got some injuries. I would side on the, side of caution, just rest players who need it. This is not a meaningful game. On that basis, I'll take the Vikings.
I don't know why the spread's 8. I get that they're probably resting starters, but if they are, like you seem to think, playing Willis, then a spread of 8's too many. Yeah. Surely. Yeah. So that would suggest, because Vegas rarely get it wrong, that they are down now to their third stringer at quarterback. And obviously they're probably not going to play Josh Jacobs, and yeah, so it's hard to have a betting angle into these games. I
No.
mean, with the
Stay
spreads,
away.
yeah. I'll just take the Vikings to win, and because the Packers have got a game next week, and let's move on to the next one.
Yep. Colts at Texans. Texans favored by 10.5. If the Texans win and the Jaguars lose, I believe the Texans will win the division. But if the Texans lose, they can be supplanted by the Bills. So that right now the Texans are in the driving seat for the 5th seed, which is the one that you want.
Yeah.
So it is a must win for them.
Yeah, I agree. Like the 5th seed, similar to the NFC, the 5th seed is favorable because you play the Steelers or the Ravens. Yeah, so I'll take the Texans and be careful with the spread because it's week 18. You don't know who's out there.
Yep. The next one does have some interesting connotations, as we've already discussed. Saints at the Falcons. If the Bucks win, they need a favor from the Saints. I'm gonna say that they get it. I hate betting against Bijan, who is unbelievable, by the way. But the Falcons seem to have an issue where unless they're playing in prime time, they can't win a game.
Yeah.
So they've got a really bad record in this early window. The Saints are playing hard, and the Saints defense, I know they've played some bad teams as of late. They're quite difficult to play against. So I'm going to say that the Falcons had their Super Bowl last week and just finished with a bit of a whimper.
So I think I got the matchup wrong earlier on. So what this if the Saints how does this impact the Panthers Bucks?
So Bucks win, they need the Saints to beat the Falcons. So you had it right.
Right, okay. Okay, so yeah.
So if the Falcons win, the Panthers are in.
Right. Yeah. Almost in a reverse, I hate picking Atlanta when they're favored. Yeah, buried in the early window, like you said, not prime time. They're the favorite. They're supposed to take care of business, and they just have a complete meltdown. And the Saints, yeah, Tyler Shuck is. I wouldn't. I've heard that. Okay, Tyler Shuck's the future quarterback. Yeah, maybe, but you've beaten, as you said, some really bad teams lately. So what's to say he's not going to turn out to be not great next year when you're back to normal? So I say that I go with the Saints. I go with the Saints to win just because I don't ever want to take Atlanta as a favorite. And that means that the Panthers, yeah. So we get
That means the Bucks would be in if they win on Saturday.
Oh no, screw that. Right. I take the Falcons.
You're taking the Falcons, yeah.
I take the Falcons, so everyone's 8 and 9.
Yes. Next up, Titans at the Jaguars. Spread is 12.5. Obviously, if the Jags win, as you said earlier, they have a 1% chance of being the number 1 seed if the Broncos and the Patriots lose. Unlikely, but they still have to take care of business because if they lose, the Texans can win the division. And you want that home game, even if you're going to be the number 3 seed. Quite simply, I think they will do that against the Titans. Jags are a dangerous, dangerous team, and I'm excited to see what they can do now.
Yeah, the Jags are interesting because there's a lot of teams. There's a lot of teams all over the NFL, which is why it's so surprising what's happened to the Rams lately because they seem to be quite a complete team all around. And another complete team, you could say, you could make a case for Jacksonville because they've got guys in defense, because they've got a running game, because they've got a quarterback who's playing out of his mind lately, because they've got a head coach who's offensively minded, who's tapped into the quarterback. they're playing great lately, and you're not scared of anyone in the AFC. You're really not. I mean, New England. So New England, right? I know we're on the Jags, but New England are 1-2 against teams with a winning record.
They have more potential criminal charges than wins against teams with winning record right now, unfortunately.
So what are we doing, NFL? Really, what are we doing? They're in the running for the number one seed in AFC, and they've got one win against a team with a winning record. And they lost. One of their losses on their schedule was to the Raiders. So, yeah, I think the Jags will win. And yeah, we're not doing spreads this week because
That's crazy.
it's a lottery ticket. Jags win.
Yep. Next up, Cardinals at the Rams. Rams, even if they don't play all of their starters, I think they win this game. I think the Cardinals have checked out.
Yeah.
They were on holiday at the start of December, I think.
Yeah.
And it's time for a change, but whoever gets Jonathan Gannon as a coordinator, if he's in the running, I think they're getting a really good coach. He might not be in the running straight away because you look at the records and they're not great, but I don't think that's on necessarily all on him. There's a lot wrong with the Cardinals, and it is institutional for them. So Rams win.
Yeah.
A feel-good game. A feel-good game for the Rams, maybe.
Yeah. No more injuries.
Yeah.
Rams win, and they're very interested in the Seattle 49ers game.
I
No,
don't
they're
think
not.
so. I
Right.
think that whatever happens, they are the 6th seed, if I'm
Yeah.
correct in my understanding, because of the head-to-head records. The fact that they split with, well, let me just check the Seahawks. Yeah. So if it works out, whatever way it works out, the Rams win and whoever loses in Seahawks 49ers, they've split head-to-head. They have matched each other in the division record. So it comes down to conference record, and both Seattle and San Francisco have a better conference record than the Rams. So the Rams are the 6th seed. They will be playing the number 3 seed.
So the Eagles have now a certain Jalen Carter back, and they also lost earlier in the season in Philadelphia in a game they really should have won.
Mm.
And they lost, that they got eliminated last season in the playoffs by the Eagles in Philadelphia. So yeah, they want to put that right, but
well, we'll come to this because it might not necessarily be Philadelphia. So
okay.
perfect. If we jump to the next game, Lions at the Bears do need to win this game to secure the number 2 seed. If they were to lose and the Eagles win, Eagles will be the number 2 seed, Bears will be the number 3 seed. And you know what? I'm going to take the Lions to win this game. As crazy as that sounds, the Bears defense got torched last week, and I just think the Lions will be playing for pride here. Like, this isn't the Cardinals. This is Dan Campbell's Lions, and they will hate where they are, and they will hate the fact that they got absolutely schooled by the Vikings last week. I mean, some of these sacks to Goff, you had like 2. When you get it wrong on the offensive line with protection, and you've got one clear lane, the rusher just has no one near him. You're like, damn, like we really got that wrong. There were plays where they had 2. They were meeting in the middle. It was quite embarrassing. I just have a sneaky feeling the Lions, who put up 50, I think, on the Bears earlier this year, the fact it is Ben Johnson, just to throw a little jab, a meaningless jab, really, but I could see them spoiling the party this week. I'm going to say the Lions win.
Okay, so I'm going to go opposite. I'm going to say that Ben Johnson wants to stick it to the Lions, and the difference in hosting the Rams or hosting the Packers, the beat up Packers, I think is quite big. So win this week, host the Packers, division rival, kind of banged up.
Mm.
Yeah, I think that's a better route for the Bears. And also it's Detroit out of the dome.
True.
Jared Goff, I know he's had a couple of wins in his career now outside in cold weather, but yeah, I was still and the Bears still had the chance to win the game late against San Francisco.
It was this close.
Yeah, and he had guys running open. He didn't see them. He had Swift wide
But
open, didn't
Swift,
he?
yeah. It's interesting because, like, same thing with Rodgers against the Browns. There was a check down where the running back would then have the chance to run it in, and it feels like he could get there, but they're not looking for it. The one that annoyed me was when everyone was saying this week, "Oh, DJ Moore was wide open in the end zone." Right, so Caleb rolled out to the left, and he's supposed to throw it to the far right of the end zone where DJ Moore is jumping up and down. Because that's a smart decision. No
Yeah,
way.
yeah. If he rolls out, it's got to be on the same side of the field, or
Yeah.
at most like the middle.
Central. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm impressed with the Bears. Like, I'm glad that Caleb is kind of showing some of the throws he made against us. I was just like, "Ooh, okay, we're in a bit of trouble here."
Yeah, this could be, if Jared Goff doesn't get too cold, this could be a shootout. This could be a really, really crazy game because of,
Yeah.
the rivalry, the Dan Campbell, Ben Johnson kind of attitudes. I hope it is. I hope it's a crazy game.
Yep.
But yeah, I'll go with the Bears.
Okay. Next up, Chiefs at Raiders. Raiders successfully lost, but won that game last week. They've pulled everyone out of their team.
Yeah.
The Chiefs have no reason to win or lose, so they'll probably just try and beat their rival. They played pretty hard against the Broncos, so that's enough to tell me they'll win this game. And we'll see if it is Mr. Swift's final game.
Yeah, this game, I mean, why the Chiefs? So the third string, so Chris Oluokun or whatever he's called is
That was a good effort.
Okay, yeah. He's playing quarterback and he's favored by 6 points. I mean, what are we doing, really? What the hell is going on? And then, so will Kansas City actually? So do the Chiefs? You end up trying to invent ways for this game to be interesting. Will the Chiefs want to hand the Raiders the number one overall pick?
No.
Do they want to see Mendoza like throughout his career in division?
If the Chiefs lose, they move up potentially, and the Raiders move down potentially. So I think it's still alive. I think the Raiders are only one game. I'd have to check strength of schedule, but I think there's a chance that the Raiders at least come out of number one. And if that is the case, then the Chiefs, motivation wise, if we lose, we might get a top 10 pick.
Yeah, but I also, because of the timings of the games, if the Giants, I think it's the Giants game, if the Giants lose to the Cowboys at 1:00 by 4:00, so 4:00 our time, 1:00 Vegas time, by kickoff, the Raiders will know if they have the number one overall pick.
Got it. Yeah.
So they could, but Gino got hurt as well. So screw it. I don't know. I'm trying to make ways for this game to be interesting. I don't want to watch this game at all. And so
only the Giants can overtake them because it's strength of schedule, and everyone that's won 3 games, Jets, Titans, Cardinals, they've had a higher strength of schedule than the Raiders. So you're right. It really comes down to, do the Cowboys beat the Giants, and then do the Chiefs play 4D chess?
Yeah. Well, and as well, the Chiefs. I mean, I know they they played a pretty good game against the Broncos, but
Mission
they
accomplished. They still lost.
they only had 100 and something, 150. I think it was 150 or less total yards of offense. So how are they favored by 6 points? I don't
They,
get it. And Chris Jones probably won't play as well. Like
right.
they're going to sit some guys, the Chiefs.
They are
They
currently sitting at the number 9 pick. If they win, they could move up as high as 12, I think. Or if they lose, they could fall just to 8. So there's
yeah,
something to protect it. Kansas City Chiefs with a top 10 pick.
yep, exactly. And they need to rebuild. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't even know. I'd take the Chiefs, but who
I
the hell
take the
knows?
under.
Yeah, I'd definitely take the under. Yeah.
But yeah, I'll take the Chiefs. But honestly, do not touch this game, everyone. Right, next up, Chargers at Broncos. Herbert is sitting because, I mean, he's so banged up. So Trey Lance gets the prize of facing this Broncos defense.
Oh shit, Trey Lance.
Yep. In Denver. And Denver need to win to secure the number 1 seed. They're going to do it. Like, I don't see any Trey Lance heroics, unfortunately. The Chargers are just too banged up. They effectively are they need a lot of help to move from the number 7 seed. So
Yeah.
to me, use it as a bye week. You know, this is your bye week to get healthy. And they are at least choosing that route for Herbert. Do it for others. So Broncos win. This will be a bit of a party, I think. 12.5, I say they cover.
Yeah, I think big picture, yeah, Broncos win this week, but there have been questions lately. There have been sort of questions raised about this Broncos defense. So, you know, they were the best defense in the NFL, and lately they have been exposed a little bit. You know, Jacksonville had a great day against them, and teams have been having some success against Riley Moss on the opposite side of Pat Surtain. So, and the linebackers aren't great, but they were hidden behind the pass rush and the corners. And so I'm not as confident, big picture, about the Broncos heading into playoffs as I was a month ago. So if they get the number 1 overall seed, which we predict they will, then I'm not now terrified of, oh damn, I've got to go to Denver on this defense. No, I think, you know, if you've got a good system on offense and a good quarterback, I think you can have some success. I think Jacksonville showed that. I don't think it's oh damn, the AFC goes through Denver. No, I don't think so. And if Denver's the number 1 seed in the AFC and the Patriots the number 2 seed in the AFC, I think it shows you or tells you that, yeah, I think anybody could, bar the Ravens or the Steelers. And even you could even make a case for the Ravens if Lamar Jackson suddenly, you know, finds his magic beans and becomes healthy. You could make it could be as crazy as that. It could be the Josh Allen year. It could be the Lamar Jackson year if he suddenly, you know, takes his magic shake and he becomes healthy. The Ravens could go on a run. There's nobody that's terrifying in the AFC. But this game, Broncos win. And because the Chargers are sitting and Trey Lance is Trey Lance. Yeah.
Yep. Dolphins, Patriots. Patriots favored by 11.5. I say Patriots win this game. Dolphins have been playing hard. Like,
yeah.
It feels like Mike McDaniel, they're playing for him and he has to stay. But they've just hired Troy Aikman to consult on the new GM hire, which is interesting. Feels a bit random, but, you know, we got John Lynch, and John Lynch has been amazing. So similar route for Troy Aikman.
But he's not going to be the GM.
He's not going to be the GM. He's just helping with the search, apparently.
Right. Well, he's you know, so he's going to stay in his job at Fox.
That's what I don't know. I don't know if this consulting role is like now permanent.
Yeah,
In which case, maybe he can juggle the two.
right.
Like whether he's got like
Interesting, because they've still got they got Dan Marino involved as well. He's involved.
really.
He's involved in the Dolphins as well. It's all a bit messy in Miami. Like,
Yeah. Now, and just as on a side note, apparently the Falcons are thinking of bringing Matt Ryan into the front office, and I'm
yeah,
like, I don't understand these moves. Like Matt Ryan has been doing like media work, so
yeah.
it feels like everyone is going through the media route, like ex players, in the media who talk to everyone. Maybe there's something to it. I don't know, but
Yeah.
Patriots win the game. And that means I think that they will stay as the number 2 seed.
So the Dolphins have won some games lately, haven't they? They
Beat the Bucks,
yeah,
beat the Bills. They lost to the Steelers.
yeah.
And they lost
The
to
final
the
two, I guess.
Bengals. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. It's an easy game to kind of quit on, isn't it? Because it's Miami, subtropical team, going to New England in January with them having something to play for.
Yeah.
Although I remember going back, they beat the Patriots and the Chiefs, the number 1 overall seed, going back when they had absolutely nothing to play for. But this is a different team. There's nobody on that roster who's still there. Yeah, Patriots win. I say Dolphins cover.
I say that as well. I agree. I think it will be close. Jets at Bills. I mean, if the Bills rest their starters, I expect them to still win the game because the Jets are fully tanking. I don't know if Aaron Glenn is going to get a second year here because this team is really bad. I mean, I know you're tanking, but it's really bad. And for the Bills, my only question is, what are you trying to do? Like, what is your priority? Because the head coach, McDermott, is talking about, James Cook's rushing title has been on my mind. And they're talking about Josh Allen, is limited in practice and can go. Those are the 2 players that need to see no part of this game. Because if either one of them suffer a further injury and don't play, you are done. Like, even if you've got Josh Allen and James Cook is out, you are done. You need them both. So do not play them. Focus on the goal at hand, not rushing titles. But Bills win this game, whoever they play.
Oh yeah, it's the Jets. They're going to win. I think even if they sit Josh Allen. I think Trubisky's still there. He's been there for a while. He knows the system. I think he's good. The Jets have Brady Cook. So
make it a Ray Davis game. Just do not play James Cook. Do not play Josh Allen.
The Patriots absolutely clowned on the Jets last week. They sat everybody in like the third quarter. Like they scored a touchdown. I think it was on 6 consecutive drives. So the defense is a complete mess, and they got Brady Cook a quarterback. So yeah, Jets lose.
And I want to be fair in my Josh Allen fanboy status. He lost the game last week. That was a throw you expect him to make. It was a great call by Joe Brady to, get, I think, was it Shakir open?
Yeah.
You see Herbert make that throw 10 times out of 10, and you usually see Josh Allen make it. He didn't make that one, so that game is on him.
Yeah, I think this game's got... So I don't know how the seedings work. I know that the 3 teams. So the Texans, Chargers, and Bills are tied record-wise for the 5, 6, 7 seed. But if the Texans win, they've sewn up the 5 seed.
Oh, wow. So actually, the Chargers resting Herbert means the Bills can move up to 6.
Yeah, I'm not...
I mean, the Texans could lose to the Colts, maybe, but I don't see it.
No.
So everything is in play for the Bills to go and win this game and hope for the best. They should at least move up to 6, I would think.
Yeah.
But still, don't play Josh Allen, don't play James Cook. You've got more than enough to beat the Jets.
Yeah. Yeah, you just don't want to play the Jaguars, probably. I think they're
Ooh.
probably the most informed team heading in. So,
So that would, yeah, maybe then, the Chargers might be thinking ahead, because if you're the 6th seed, you probably are playing the Jaguars.
yeah, so if the Chargers lose, then they become the 7, and then they go to New England.
Which would be interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Like with the AFC, I don't think there's anyone scary, really. And
Maybe the Jaguars.
my crazy take is that if Lamar Jackson suddenly becomes healthy, the Ravens could be the most dangerous team.
Well, next week, once the season is done and dusted, we will revisit our picks for our preseason picks.
Oh wow!
And we will have the opportunity to either stick or change our Super Bowl predictions. So we'll get to that next week.
Okay.
All right. So moving on, Commanders at Eagles. Eagles plan to rest their starters. So that is why the spread is only 3.5 in favor of the Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
Eagles need the Bears to lose, and they need to win in order for them to move to the number 2 seed. Okay. Otherwise, they stay as the number 3 seed.
Okay. Yeah, I think they'll beat the Commanders regardless, even if they play a backup quarterback. But yeah, the Eagles. Yeah, Jalen Carter's back. That's been the biggest development. The offense is still, they still.
Who blocked the point after? Or sorry, who blocked the point after on the Bills' first touchdown? Jalen Carter, and that is why the Bills had to go for 2 to win the game. If they make that point after, they just score another touchdown and kick another point after they win the game.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah, it is huge. The Eagles' questions are on offense, but they're playing the Commanders. So yeah, I think they'll win this week and cover the 3.5.
Agreed. I mean, the way that they couldn't tackle Barkley last time, whether it's Barkley or Bigsby, yeah, they'll have a day, I think. And what I will say is, as a fan of a team that is in this NFC chase, the Eagles are the team I'm most scared of.
Yeah. Because they know how to get it done in the playoffs, and also their defense. Like if they do, they completely shut down the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, and they went on that run where, it was only the Rams who even had any success against that defense. So they can, along with like the Texans are probably the equivalent in the AFC, that their defense could almost carry them. They probably do need a little bit more on offense, but the Eagles' defense is really scary. If they continue that through the playoffs, they could win games on their own.
And their offense has the potential. We've seen it. When it clicks, that team is like Avengers. They are unstoppable. It hasn't fully come together for them so far. So we'll see.
Simplicity works. Run, and then run and then throw it up and third down. It can work. It can work when you have AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts. It can. So
they know that if they play a clean game, regardless, they can lean on their defense. Yeah. And I know the stats don't say that they've been great, but watch out. That's all I'll say in the playoffs for this defense.
Yeah, for sure.
So that leaves us with one game on the Week 18 schedule. Paul, it is Ravens at the Steelers for the AFC North division title.
Yeah.
Before we go into this, I just want to quickly say there's been a lot of bullshit spoken about Lamar Jackson over the last week, and I just want to call it out. Whoever this guy is that writes for I think it's the Baltimore Sun, that said Lamar's falling asleep in meetings. Lamar said it best. He sits in the front row. And if you've done your homework and watched Hard Knocks last year, you can see he sits in the front row. And Colin Cowherd talking about, yeah, they should trade Lamar Jackson so they can get out of the 74.5 million cap number. That's not how it works, Colin. You don't know what you're talking about. Either way, they don't need to trade Lamar Jackson. They will sort his contract out, so it's not 74.5 million. And all they have to do is either extend him or rework it. It's not gonna fix itself by trading or cutting him. And that would be a ludicrous move. Because if they do that, more than half the league will put their hand up and say, we'll take Lamar Jackson.
I hope they do trade him.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
as a Steelers fan,
absolute insanity to trade him. But we live in a generation of angry videos and clickbait titles, and Lamar Jackson's done this. Okay, was he only doing this apparently this year, or was he doing this in his MVP seasons? Do we suddenly now hate him now because the team is not at the level that he got them to in previous years? Because it was, to a large extent, him. He is a two-time MVP. What are we doing? We just love to hate on our sports stars.
Insane. Anyway, this is only half about the Ravens. It's half about your team, Paul. What do you make of this one?
Yeah, this game is almost scripted. It's perfect for the NFL. Sunday night football to round out the season. And I should have known better than to think that there was going to be any other ending to this division than when the schedule came out. Ravens at Steelers to round out the season. The way that these two teams play each other, the stat that if a team is favored by more than 3 points, then they lose over 70% of the time.
Wow.
Or they don't cover the spread. So the final score falls within 3 over 70% of the time in this matchup. And the spread this week, because of the Steelers and scoring 6 points against the Browns, 6, yes, is 3.5. The Steelers are dogs at home by 3.5. But the questions that game raised last week, particularly, it was glaring. Like they kept through into your friend MVS against Denzel Ward, who's a pretty good guy at cornerback. Because in that spot would have been DK Metcalf, who is also not going to be in that spot this week. And DK Metcalf was the guy who had some success in the previous matchup in Baltimore this season. So can the Steelers get around that? Can the Steelers just get out of their own way where they maybe hand the ball off to their backs a little bit more than what they have been doing? Having Aaron Rodgers passing it 40, 50 times a game at age 42, probably not the way you want to go when you've got Scotty Miller, MVS, and Adam Thielen at receiver. So, yeah, the Steelers' play calling last week was confusing, to say the least, because the defense kind of kept them in it. They had that crazy Shador duck. He threw a duck up there and it held up in the wind, but it was such a bad throw that the safety missed it and they scored the touchdown. But apart from that, Cleveland really didn't do much, and Shador was not good, or the Steelers made him look not good. And there's just a lot of questions in this game. Like, who are the Ravens going to play at quarterback? I've heard Ravens fans saying that we would rather. So Snoop Huntley, currently, because he is fully healthy, adds to Derrick Henry's ability to run the ball because the Ravens' run game is predicated on the dual threat. The quarterback or the running back can run with it. So you've got to defend both sides. And with Lamar, teams are not doing that lately because Lamar's not running it like we know that he can because he's not fully healthy.
Yeah.
So, but if Lamar's got a chance to play, then he's going to play.
He says he's playing.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. And I think the DK Metcalf thing is huge. It's huge. We saw it last week. And we saw it in the previous game between these two teams. DK Metcalf was the guy who was having some success down the field. And now taking his spot is MVS, who was never a great receiver and is now suddenly your number one. Well, de facto number one. This guy was on his couch like a month ago. So I hope as a Steelers fan, this is a Jaylen Warren game. This is a defense. This is a defense kind of back to the old school, like, let's confuse Lamar Jackson. We've got good history against Lamar Jackson. Let's confuse him. And let's hand the ball off a ton to Jaylen Warren and Kenneth Gainwell. Because Washington's out as well. He broke his forearm last week. So the Steelers are fully banged up. We've also got a corner missing in James Pierre, who's had a great season. So we're fully banged up heading into this week. But the Ravens are banged up too at the quarterback position. So I just can't get away from this DK Metcalf thing. I really can't. I think that's huge for Pittsburgh. But I'm going to say that they cover. I think it's a typical Ravens Steelers. I think. But you just don't know. I could pick the Ravens and then the Steelers win in a stupid game because that's what these teams do. They just do. It will be must-watch television regardless. It's Ravens at Steelers for the division. So, and these two teams, we're not best friends. And it's still, it'd be so Mike Tomlin to lose to Cleveland and then beat the Ravens to win the division. That would be so Mike Tomlin. I'll pick the Ravens, but I'm not confident just based on the history of these two teams.
I mean, that last point just sums up the Steelers. Like, they will literally go and lose to Cleveland and then go and beat the Ravens. I just really don't like the mentality of Rodgers last week, which was clearly, I don't want to get sacked by Garrett and be the one that, got sacked to break the record. No one cares. Like, I don't even know who TJ Watt sacked to match the record. I can't remember. I think it was Lamar. I don't know. Because guess what? It's about the person that breaks the record, not the sackee, if you like. I only know that Brett Favre got sacked by Michael Strahan because he kind of indicated that he let that happen. So that's the only reason.
He fell over. He sacrificed himself.
Yeah. So I really didn't like the whole, get the ball out really quick, not even giving any plays a chance. And Joe Burrow basically threw shade at that this week where he was like, well, I'm not going to go out my way to stop Garrett from breaking the record because it impacts the plays. Like, if your mindset is don't go through your progressions because, he's right there. I don't like that. And I didn't like a lot of what I saw from Rodgers, as you have already talked about, throwing it up to MVS of all people on Ward of all people. That's how you're going to win the game. And the 4th and 1, Thielen's wide open over the middle. Like you need 1 yard to progress that drive, and instead you throw it in the conditions. He threw it out of bounds.
Yeah, what the fuck was that play call? That he's going for a touchdown on the 4th and 1.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, it was just a crazy game all around. You know, conspiracy theorists would absolutely love it. Like our kicker missed the field goal, and then we go for that stupid one, and the safety mistimes the flight of the ball in the air for the only offensive touchdown. Like, yeah, I mean, and because of that, this game is perfect for ratings for the NFL.
Yeah, and Rodgers had a similar situation to Caleb at the end. He could have dumped it to Kenny Gainwell, and it would have had a chance to run in. But I get the mindset for that. You don't want to throw it short and then be short because that's game over. But throwing it to MVS, who's being guarded by Denzel Ward, no, that's not.
Yeah,
that's not a winning formula.
Fryermuth was having some success on the drive that got them down there, and then they avoided him down at the end. And you're going to throw fades to MVS right at the end? Really? You've got. I mean, you're not great on offense, but you've got some better guys than him.
Yeah,
he was not on your roster like a month ago.
Yeah,
he's not on the roster. So,
and just the fact, like the 4th and 1, it was actually like it worked out because I think they put the tight end on a go route, and so it cleared out that space, and Thielen just ran a drag across. He's wide open, just take it. But Rodgers had in his mind, I'm throwing it to MVS. Like, don't care what the look is. I'm throwing it to MVS. And then you look at the other side, and the beast has awoken. Like, King Henry has he's back. That's what I'm scared about for the Steelers, because it's not just last week. I mean, I threw out those milestones last week and seemed to speak it into existence. I said he needs like 2 touchdowns to tie Adrian Peterson. He goes and gets 4, and of course he smashed the yardage. So now he's top 10. I mean, he's no discussion. He's first ballot in my opinion. Like he is basically the running back of this era. When you think back, we've had LaDainian, AP, now it's King Henry. And Snoop Huntley, I mean, I was raving about Malik Willis earlier. Snoop Huntley played well. Like he's a very good backup. Was he not on a roster early? Was he on the Dolphins? I think. I don't know. I can't remember what team he was on, but the Ravens only picked him up on the practice squad not so long ago. So I don't know how to call this game. I really don't, because they're 2 teams that are showing us who they are. Like, they're kind of inconsistent.
Yeah.
They have good moments. They have bad moments. So who knows who's going to win this game? It's like really a case of who shows up on the day. But the X factor for me is King Henry. And against the Patriots, he went off. It wasn't his fault that he didn't play the last 12 minutes. Otherwise, they win that game. I think that the Ravens will just do enough, and I think it will be headed by King Henry. And we'll see if this is Rodgers' last game or not. But
yeah, there is that as well. You forget. It's. I think he's on a 2-year contract. I don't know what
I think he's on a 1 year. I think he's on a 1 year.
Right. Because I wasn't thinking beyond this year, but
I say this knowing that we're going to be sitting here Monday, and the Steelers are probably going to have won this game.
Yeah, that would be so Mike Tomlin. If you heard I can't remember the exact numbers, but Mike Tomlin is like 1-5 or 1 or 2-5 or something. He's got a crazy record against teams who have lost, who are 8 games or more under 500. in his career.
Wow.
So it's in
Oh,
there.
the Lions. The
Yeah,
tie with the 0-8 Lions.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I think it's 1-5-1. Yeah, I think that was right. Like the
Cleveland.
Lions, the Cleveland. We've had a loss in the Raiders back there. In the a few years ago, we lost to the Patriots when they were going through their.
Yes. Yeah. I remember that game. Mitch Trubisky's Steelers. Yeah.
Mitch Trubisky.
Okay, so we move on. We move on to the betting. The betting is going to be difficult this week. Not gonna hold any promises.
Yeah.
But let's start off week 18. Who's going off draft? One last time, Jahmyr Gibbs against this Bears defense. I got to pick my man, Jahmyr Gibbs. He's had an amazing season. He's been quiet for the last few weeks, though. Teams have been able to limit him. So I say he goes out with a bang against this Bears defense, which has been struggling.
Okay, it's easy to go with Jamar Chase. So I'm going to go with T. Higgins against the Browns. So probably think that he'll play against the other corner because Denzel Ward will be following Jamar. I think the Bengals are still playing hard. And as I said, I think the Browns had their Super Bowl against the Steelers. So I think the Browns are now fully in off-season mode. So I'll take T. Higgins to have a big game against the Browns.
Yeah, I love it. Denzel Ward will be following Chase, no doubt. This is going to be in vain, but I'm going to take Jackson Smith and Jigba. This 49ers defense can be got at. And whether Lenore follows JSN or not, I say he goes off in this game, but I still say it's in vain.
Okay. I'm going to say that should I go with the Cowboys player or should I go with Okay, I will take a CeeDee Lamb to go off against the Giants. I think the Cowboys are still playing, and the Giants, they had their win against the Raiders. The defense is still not great. And I think the Cowboys are going to put up a lot of points this week in a great game against the Giants.
Yep, I love that. I have to do it. I'm going to take King Henry. I just think that the beast has awoken this last few weeks. It's a really important game, and I'm sure the Steelers will give it a great effort, but they have struggled against this man. And if he gets if he gets one touchdown, he will actually tie Marcus Allen for third all-time in rushing touchdowns. I'm going to say that he gets 2.
I'm going to say in the same matchup, and I hope this happens because I think this is the way that the Steelers can win this game, is that Jaylen Warren's going to have a big game against Baltimore. I think this is the way to attack Baltimore. And the Steelers haven't been getting this guy. He's had touches, but not enough. He needs to touch the ball 20 times. He's super talented, and I think he could have a big game against this Ravens defense.
Okay. Week 18, touchdown to glory. Paul, who have you got?
I will go with T. Higgins. I think the Bengals are going to score a lot of points against the Browns. And yeah, he's involved. He's involved in the red zone. He's involved in the deep passing game. So yeah, I'll take T. Higgins.
Okay. I've gone this way before. Give me Courtland Sutton against the Chargers. I don't think the Chargers are going to allow the Broncos to run it in. So Bo Nix is going to be looking for his favorite target.
Okay, I will take, just because he is Mr. Reliable, I'll take Trey McBride to catch a touchdown for the Cardinals because he does most weeks, and he's the guy who's the best guy on this roster, at least on offense.
I like it. Give me Parker Washington. He didn't deliver last week, but against the Titans defense, speed kills, and I think he's got a great chance. So let's have a look. So we have got T. Higgins. We have got Parker Washington. No price for Trey McBride yet. Okay. So I'll wait a day for that. And it would be Courtland Sutton. So it's going to be, let's see. So even with the 3, it's about 18-1. So I would think with Trey McBride,
It'll be about evens, so 36.
Yeah.
Ish.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's just try and get a win on the board.
Well, yeah, exactly. We've come close like a few times, 3 out of 4. So we're right there. Best bets.
Okay.
Sorry, week 18 best bets.
I will say that the Bengals will cover 7.5 against the Browns. I think the Bengals offense is now approaching full speed. They found a little bit on defense lately. It's typical Bengals that it all counts for nothing. But the Browns, don't be confused by the Browns beating the Steelers. The Browns have major problems on offense, and Shador has a terrible habit of throwing the ball to the other team. So even the Bengals will have some success against this Browns offense. No Judkins. They found some success with the stand-in running back. I forget his name last week against the Steelers, but yeah, this Browns offense is nothing to be scared of. They're not going to keep up the Bengals.
Give me the Rams 7.5 against the Cardinals. The Cardinals are a mess, as they often are, and the Rams need a get-right game, and I think they will get it in this match.
I'll take the over in the Giants-Cowboys. I don't know the number. If it's 52, I don't care. I'll still take it. The Giants are going to play their starters. The Cowboys have already said that they're playing their starters. I don't like either defense. The only way this doesn't come in, I think, is if there's weather. So, yeah, I like the chances of the over.
Okay. And give me the Broncos minus 12.5 against the Chargers. It is going to be Trey Lance. He hasn't played much at all. Like, he's come in a few times. Even with Herbert, this would be a tough order. And it's not with Herbert. That's a big drop-off for me. And I think for the number 1 seed, the Broncos, Sean Payton's going to have a bit of a party here.
Yeah.
Okay, so that leaves us with one final attempt at the wheel spin bet builder. This is fitting. Purple is Ravens at the Steelers.
Okay. I saw the number of Jaylen Warren scrimmage yards, and it was 60-something.
Ooh. Is that because he splits with Gainwell then?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's got to be. It's got to be. I mean, he had 70 rushing yards last week, only on 12 touches. So
In Cleveland,
yeah,
that's pretty good going.
but that's why a lot of Steelers fans were losing their mind. Like Warren was having some success. Like, what the hell are we doing? You stopped running the ball. And he does seem to have success more often than not, Warren. He is. I really like Warren as a player.
The thing is with Warren, he's explosive. So
Yeah.
if he breaks or makes one person miss, that could be like a 30-yard play, could be more than that. So yeah, Jalen Warren, 63 and a half total scrimmage yards.
Oh,
See, I want to go Henry, but 96 and a half is a lot. Well, hold on. So that was total scrimmage. So rushing, Henry is 89 and a half, which is risky because the Steelers will know that's who they have to stop. I think he gets the touchdown, but
let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do 89 and a half. I think Baltimore, they literally handed the game over to Henry last week. He touched the ball 30 times. I think they're going to do the same thing.
for what it's worth, they are quoting Lamar Jackson rushing yards, not Snoop Huntley. So they must know something that Lamar's going to play. I mean, Lamar did say he's going to play, but you just never know. You can't he wants to play, but he has to get cleared to play. But his number's 25 and a half. I say we leave that. Receiving yards, who has Huntley been enjoying throwing to? I feel like it's Andrews. So Mark Andrews, 28 and a half.
Yep.
I think he hits that. Freiermuth is at 31 and a half. When we consider that there's no Mount Washington and the Ravens defense will leave gaps. That's the thing. It almost feels like it could be a passing day for Rodgers.
Yeah, I don't want to take any Steelers receiver at all, except for either Gainwell or Freiermuth.
Gainwell,
terrible season, but it's just because he's not involved. If he's involved, he will have some success.
Do you like Gainwell total scrimmage at 63 as well, or is it one of those where one of them's gonna get it more than the other?
I think they could both, but I think Warren's more likely.
Yeah.
So I think leave that alone. Do Freiermuth receiving yards.
Yeah, nice low number. Nice low number. So in fact, if we look at it, Jalen Warren over 63 and a half total scrimmage yards, King Henry over 89 and a half rushing yards, Mark Andrews over 28 and a half receiving yards, and Pat Freiermuth over 31 and a half receiving yards. You are getting 16 to 1 on that. I think that's where we stop. Yeah.
Leave it there.
Nice one.
I'm delighted we found 4
Yeah.
game, but yeah.
I think it's got chances because it's nice and low for the receivers where it could be one of those games. So Freiermuth might get that on one target as well. That's the thing. Rodgers has picked him on big spots in games. So
yeah.
Okay, well that wraps up week 18. Next week, as I said earlier, we will revisit our preseason playoff predictions and our Super Bowl picks. Say again?
Are there any shockers in there? I know I was on the Eagles, but
well, for Super Bowl we both had Eagles versus Ravens. So we'll see what happens this week, and we'll have a think about whether we stick or twist.
It's not like we're on the Chiefs. We're not dead yet.
No, exactly. I know I picked the Vikings to make the playoffs, so that is one.
Then you picked the Bears, so
Yeah, and you had the Jags. So all credit to you on that one. That was a great pick.
I did not expect them to be where they are. It's them to be to sneak in as a wild card, but
Yeah. And just to say, if the Rams win their game, the NFC West will be the first division to have 3 teams winning 13 games.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. But yeah, just one other thing before we close. We will be doing a 4th and Gold All-Pro team because the season ends, and we will start to drop that to you next week. And yeah, next week the new season begins.